Hello all. This lecture we'll see about structures in C. So till now we have seen different data types, fundamental data types like integer, float, character, etc. So there we can have user defined data types in C also, or we can call it as a derived data type. Okay. So we'll be seeing about those derived data types or user defined data types in this C. So this is the outline of this lecture. We will see about user-defined data types, what is structure, then how to declare structures. We have three methods to declare structures. In this lecture, you will see first two methods. Okay. Then how to initialize structures, then how to copy a structure, and how to compare different structures. So what is meant by user-defined data type? So user-defined data types can be formed from the fundamental data types. So user-defined data types are the data types that are formed from the fundamental data types. They are also called as derived data type. Okay, derived data type. So array is an example of a derived data type because array it is a data structure. So if we declare an integer array, we can store many number of homogeneous data in it. Homogeneous, it is of same data type. That is, if it is integer array, we can store integer array elements, integer elements in an array. So we can have heterogeneous data also. So heterogeneous data means mix of data. So if we want to store character, if we want to store some string, and if I want to store some um, floating numbers and also some integer numbers in a particular data type, it is also possible in C. So if we want to have heterogeneous data, we can go for this user defined data types. So these user defined data types are formed from the fundamental data types like integer, character, etc. So structure is one kind of user defined data type. Okay, so you will see what is a structure. So structure, it is a collection of variables under a single name. So it is a collection of variables. So those variables can be of any type. So that's the peculiarity of structure. So it's a collection of variables under a single name, and variables can be of different types. So one variable may be integer, another variable may be a float, another variable may be a double, another variable may be a character. So everything can be stored using a single name. So all these variables will come under a single name. Then it is known as structure. So each variable has a name. So in each variable can have its own name, and structure has a name also. Okay. So structure provides a means of grouping variables under a single name. So it is easier for handling and identification. So we can have nesting also. Inside a structure, we can have another structure because structure itself is a data type. So we can have a structure inside a structure. So we will see all these things in this lecture. In this lecture and the next lecture, we will see about structures. Then how to declare structure. So this is a general format of a structure. We will use the keyword struct. So struct is the keyword that is used, and this is the name that will be given. It's an optional thing. So we'll see while declaring, we have three methods to declare structures. In some methods, we will use a name also. Okay. So struct is the keyword that will be used, and this is mandatory. Then we can have a name, and within braces you can include different members. That is, first member, it can be an integer, it can be an integer, int a, int b, then int c, or float d, float f, like that. You can have any number of members inside the structure. Okay, and it will close with the braces, and these are also optional. So you will see why it is optional. So we can have structure variables. So these are actually structure variables. So this means it is these variables are of type struct. Okay, these variables are structure variables. Like if you declare int a and b are of integer type, and if you declare s1 and s2 here, it means s1 and s2 are of struct type, this structure type. Okay, so for that, variables will be can be declared like this. So you will see different types of declaration, then you will understand what is this. So and it will end with a semicolon. So this is an example. So struct, this is the name that is given, books, struct books. So books is the name of that structure, and we have different members. One is character array, title of 50 elements, then character author of 50 elements, then character subject of 100 elements, then there is an integer book ID, and it is closed. So we have four elements in that structure, and after that we are declaring book 1 comma book 2. So book 1 and book 2 are structure variables of type books. Okay, so book 1 denotes it's a structure variable of books, and book 2 also denotes it's a structure variable of type books. So it is like declaring int A and B. So A is of type integer, B is of type integer. Similarly, structure is also a data type. This books is also a type of data type. So book 1 and book 2 are type books. So we have three ways to declare structure. So this is a general format, but we can have three ways to declare the same thing. So this is three ways to declare a structure. We have variable structure, tag structure, and type defined structure. So in this lecture, we will see the first two ways to declare structure. In the next lecture, we will see about type defined structure. So variable structure. So we will see how variable structure can be used to declare a structure. So like we declare variables in AB, so we have to declare these structures also. So variable structure, this is the format. Struct keyword will be used, and there won't be any name that will be given to the structure. Okay. Then we can have member list, like we have already seen. Data type variable 1, data type variable 2, data type variable 3. Like that, you can have any number of members inside that, and it will close with a brace. And after that, variable identifiers can be used, like s1 comma s2 s3, like that it can be used. Okay, so this is the variable structure format. Here we don't have the structure variable. Okay, we don't have that structure name. We don't give that tag name for that structure. There is no tag name. Then it is known as variable structure declaration. So this is an example, struct int xy. So there is no name for this. So and we have a variable identifier, the a. So a means so there is no tag in it. Okay, no tag in it. So A means A is of type structure, and A has two elements x and y. So we will see how to use the elements of the structure and all later. So this is an example for variable structure. So we can simply declare like the struct, and whatever variables you can include, you can have any type data types inside the structure, and A is of type this struct. Okay, then the second method is tagged data structure. So in tagged data structure, we will use that tag name also. We will give a name to that also. Then we can have member list and variable identifiers. You can have any number of variables, structure variables here. So this is an example. The same thing. This is the same thing. We have given a name to this. So we have given a name coordinate, int x and int y, and a. So a is the structure variable. A is the structure variable of structure coordinate type. Okay. So this means a is of variable structure coordinate. So int x and int y can be declared like this. So this is tagged definition. So this is another way to use this structure tag definition. You can give a tag name here, and we have not declared any variables here. So there are no coordinate variables. So it is not mandatory that you should declare all the variables here. So you can declare the various variables separately, like you declare int ABC like that. If you want, you can have declare like this. So struct tag name and the variable 1, variable 2, etc. can be declared. This is a general format for such a declaration. So inside the program, in the main function, you can declare like this. So it is like this, struct coordinate AB. So struct and tag name is coordinate AB. So this means A and B are structure type of variables, structure coordinate structure type of variables. So A can access this xy, B also have this x and y. So this way we can also declare. So both ways we can declare. So this is struct coordinate A. We are declaring the variables here itself. Another way is to declare variables separately. Structure variables can be declared separately like this. Struct, and you have to give the name for the structure coordinate A comma B. Okay. This is another example structure books, and we have all the variables, and we are not declaring in structure variables. We have to use a semicolon after the braces. That is important. So we have to use a semicolon here to show that there are no variables. Now you can declare a variable book1. So book 1 is of type books. Okay, this is another example struct my struct int abc, and you have s1 comma s2, s1 comma s2. So s1 and s2 are of my struct type. Okay, they have three integer variables. Now why this I have shown is how many bytes of memory will be used. So when we declare like this, it means it has to store three integer variables. So s1 will should be allocated 12 bytes, that is 4 bytes for this, 4 bytes for this, 4 bytes for 4 plus 4 plus 4, it is 12 bytes. If it is a 32-bit machine, then we have to use 12 bytes for S1. Then similarly for S2 also 12 bytes need to be allocated. So this tells the compiler that these S1 variables will occupy 12 bytes. First 4 bytes will be for A, second 4 bytes will be for B, then last 4 bytes will be for C for S1. Then similarly for S2 also 12 bytes will be allocated. Okay. Now next is how to access members of a structure. So we have different members like A, B, C. These are all members. How to access these members? How to give some values to these members? So that is what we are going to study. Accessing members of a structure. So if we have a structure like this int A, B, C, and we are declaring S1 comma S2. Now if we want to access the members A, B, C, then you can simply assign some values like this. S1 dot A equal to 25. This means 25 will be assigned to S1's A value. So S1 as ABC, similarly S2 as ABC. So S1 dot A means 25 value will be assigned to S1 dot A. Then S2 dot C means 32 will be assigned to S2 dot C. Okay. So we will be using this dot operator. We will be using this dot operator to access the variables inside the structure. So you have to use the structure variable dot the element name A equal to 25, like that we can assign. There should be a semicolon also, all those semicolon everything, it should end with a semicolon. Okay, then you can print like this, printf percentage d comma s2 dot c. So 13 will be printed because we have assigned 13 to s2 dot c. So in order to access a variable, rather than using c, you have to use the structure variable dot c, structure variable dot c. That's all. So the same as you use the ordinary fundamental data types. Additionally, what you have to do is you have to include the structure variable name also. So by this you can access the elements of the array. And this is another example. Okay, this is another example. So we are declaring a structure personal data which has character array, another character array to store address, then integer, year of birth, month of birth, then another int day of birth. So year of birth maybe 1980, then month maybe November, then in day of birth maybe November 10, like that. So we are not using any structure variables here, and we are declaring structure variables separately. Structure personal data Ram, Raju and Abdul. So Ram, Raju and Abdul are structure type variables, personal data. Okay. So if you want to access name, then Ram dot name. If you want to access address of Raju, Raju dot address should be given. Or my year of birth of Abdul, then Abdul dot year of birth. So these are all variable names. Okay. So if you want to scan some address, then it is percentages Raju dot address, because address is of type string. So character array. So we have to use percentages Raju dot address. Then particular. So instead of using address, you have to use the structure variable dot address. Now how to initialize structure variables. If you want to initialize, how to initialize those variables. So this way we can, this is the first method to initialize. So we have already seen these things. So finally, if we want to initialize a particular structure variable like s1, so s1 should be given some values, s1 dot A, S1 dot B, S dot C all should be given some values. Then you can do like this, like array initialization or string initialization. What you have done is you will be inside some braces, you will be giving some values. So you have to give all the values, or if you want to give only three values, you can give the first three values. So like this you can initialize the structure, constant 1 comma constant 2, like that you can initialize. So another way is, if you are declaring this structure variable separately, then you can initialize like this, like an array initialization. The tag name should be used, struct tag name, then structure variable equal to, then you have to give within braces, you have to give some values. So you can initialize while declaring this structure, and also separately you can initialize the structures. We will see examples and you will understand. Okay, now we will see an example of this. So this is an example. So we have struct tablets. So tablets is the structure name. We have integer, float, then int. We have three elements. Okay, this way also we can declare these elements. You can declare any number of elements. So it has some order, that's all. Int m date, comma m month, comma m year. So there are three integer variables. So one integer, then after that float, then we have three integer variables, again another int, three variables, x date, x month, x year. So totally there are, so how many bytes will be need to be allocated for batch 1? It will be 4 plus 4 8, then plus 12 20, plus 12 32. So total 32 bytes will be needed for batch 1. So, and we can initialize like this. Batch 1 is a variable, a structure variable of tablets type, equal to, within braces we have to give values. So we are giving only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. So this means count will be assigned 2000. Then second is average weight will be 25.3. Then this M date will be 07. Then M month will be 11. M year will be 2004. So we have not initialized these three integer variables. So that is also possible. So when we initialize like this, the first value will be assigned to the first variable. The second value will be assigned to the second variable. Like that, the same order will be given. Now, so this structure will be declared like global variable. So you can declare it inside the main function also. So if we are declaring like global variables, so what is the uses you can use in all the functions. The same structure tablets can be used in any of the functions. Okay, so you can declare in any way. So we have declared the structure variable here itself, and we have initialized some values. Now we will how to access, if I want to print count batch1 dot count, then you have to print batch1 dot count, or batch1 dot average weight, like that you can print. So these are some print statements. So printf count percentage d and average weight percentage f. So percentage d will be replaced with batch1 dot count. Percentage f will be replaced by batch1 dot average weight. Then similarly next when you printf manufacturing date, then you are printing 3 percentage d. So 3 integer values should be printed. So percentage d will be replaced by batch1 dot m date. So batch1 dot m date, m month, and batch1 dot m year. So we have given some values, so those values will be printed. Now the next is experience date, percentage d, percentage d, percentage d, and here we are using batch1 dot ex date, batch1 dot x month, and batch1 dot date. So if you see the output here, count will be 2000. So we have already initialized 2000. Then average weight is 25.3. So it will be 25.29, because we are not simply using percentage f. Otherwise you have to use percentage some 5.1 f, like that you have to print. Then you will get 25.3. Then manufacturing date, you are printing batch1 dot m date. So we have already given. Now we have included a slash also. That is why that slash is visible here. 7/11/2004 will be printed. And you have not initialized this x date and max date, so it is automatically initialized to 0. So whenever we declare the structure and we give some values, if there are some variables that are not initialized, then those variables will be assigned 0 values. So this is known as partial initialization. So we are initializing only partially. So the rest of the values will be automatically initialized to 0. So that is why 0/0/0 will be printed here. So this way we can declare. So this way we can declare the structure and a structure variable like this, and you can access elements like this, batch1 dot count, batch1 dot average height, like that you can access the elements also. Okay, the same only thing is batch1 you have to include instead of using count average weight and all, you have to use batch1 dot count, batch1 dot average height, like that. I'll show one more example. So here I have declared a structure tablets, the same structure, but we have not used a structure variables here. So I will take this variable. Okay, I'll declare inside this. Okay, I'll declare inside this. So what I am doing is inside this. Inside this I'll be declaring. Okay, so here structure tablets is declared without any structure variables. So we have seen tagged structure. Okay, tagged structure, and also so this is a kind of tag structure without this variable declaration here. So we have used tablets name, but we have not used. So if that is the case, you can either declare as global variables this thing struct tablets. So inside the main programming, I am declaring the struct tablet. So you have to use the tag name tablets here, and also you have to use a variable batch1, and now we are initializing all the values. Here I am initializing these three values also. It is not necessary that you have to initialize all these values. I am initializing all the values now. Now we are printing this count, the same three printf statements. Now if you run this program, you can see that it will be automatically printing all those values. So you can see it will be printing like this. I have included a slash after this, %d slash %d. That's why it is printed like this. Okay. So this way you can do the same thing only. Only difference is I have not included a variable name here. Instead, I have declared it separately inside the main program and initialize those values. Okay. So that is another way to initialize. Then I'll show another example. Okay. Now how to assign these values. Before that, I'll go back to the slide. So this is how we can initialize. Either we can initialize it here, or inside the program we can declare a variable and initialize. Okay. Then if you try to initialize like this, it will cause some error. If you try to initialize inside the structure some value 0 and 0, it will be a compilation error. You cannot initialize members inside the structure. Okay, so this is not possible. So if you want to initialize 0 and 0 for this point, so the one thing you can use is like this: int x comma y and struct point. You are declaring a structure variable p1 equal to 0 1. So it means 0 will be assigned to x and 1 will be assigned to y. Or you can declare like this: p1, okay, p1 equal to 0 comma y 1. Or you can use x comma y like this. You need not separate like int x and int y. Automatically first element 0 will be assigned to the first element and 1 will be assigned to the second element. And another way of initialization, which was started from C99 compiler onwards, you can initialize like this also: struct point, you are declaring x, y, z. So in the previous you have to give each value separately. Okay, but if you want to initialize only certain elements in that, it is also possible. So you can declare like this, you can initialize like this: struct point p1 type equal to, now you are changing the order. If you print like this, if you are initializing like this, dot y equal to 0, so it means 0 should be assigned to p1 dot y, then dot z equal to 1, dot x equal to 2. So like this also you can initialize. So you need not worry about the order of these variables. So simply you have to give dot y equal to dot z equal to dot x. This way also you can initialize. Or if you want to initialize only x, you need not initialize y and z. Then it is possible like this: point p2 equal to dot x equal to 20. So y and z will be 0. Okay. Or if you want to initialize only x is z value, then dot z equal to dot c equal to 20, like that it will be initialized. So this is also possible in initially it was not there, and later the compilers have added this type of initialization also: dot y dot z, like that you can initialize each variable separately. So we will see some examples of the structure. So this is an example. So we are declaring as test, structure name is struct test, and the variables are float x, y, z, and we are declaring a structure variable s. S is a structure variable, and inside main program, so it is not needed. So we can remove this also because we are declaring it again. Then struct float pqr, three variables are used: pqr, these are of float variables. Now s is of structure test type of variable. Now if I want to access the elements, I am assigning some values to these elements. So s dot y, it is 5.94, then s dot z, it is 19.45, then s dot x, I am assigning 23.17. Now you can do the ordinary arithmetic operations on these variables. So if you want to add x and x plus y plus z, it is possible. So only thing you have to use is you have to take it as s dot x, s dot y, s dot s. So you can add all these three variables and you can assign it to p. P is a floating type variable. Then if you want to multiply these two variables z and x, it is also possible. Then if you want to divide z by x, it is also possible, and you are assigning it to r. Now you are printing all these pqr values. You are using some formatting, pq 7.2f, like that you are using. And if you compile this and run this, you can see this. So p is actually the sum of x, y, z. Then q is z into x, and this is z by x. So you can get the result like this. So you can do all the arithmetic type of manipulation in the structure variables. Only thing, you have to use the dot operator for that. Okay. Now we will see another example to use this structure. So here it is a traveler. So this is a traveler. The name of the structure is traveler, and we have different variables. So this is just to give some values to a particular person who is traveling in a train. So there will be some compartment number and all the ticket details. So whatever that is printed in the ticket details can be printed here. That's all. We are initializing those values and we are simply printing those values. So here it is class, then train number, coach number, seat number, then from, destination to destination, gender, age, departure date, and his name. So all these are actually ticket details. Now, so this is in the global area. So I am declaring this traveler. Now I am declaring a traveler called passenger 8. So this is passenger 8 is the variable name, and I am also initializing this variable. So equal to within braces. So this can be in a single line, but in order to understand, I am initializing like this. So I have already mentioned you can, if you want to specify initialize in any of the orders, it is possible. So I know which all variables are there, I don't know the order of the structure, then you can simply enter like this: dot name dot equal to jitsin. Actually name is the last element, then dot to equal to Jaipur, and dot from Raigar, then train number, super some name can be given, then departure date. So departure date is actually an array. So if you see this, departure date is an integer array. So since it's an integer array, you can store up to 10 elements. So what I am doing is departure dot date in 0, I am storing the 30th date. Then departure dot 8, I am storing the month date. Departure dot date of third element, I am storing 2010, that is year. Then gender equal to m, dot age equal to 20, then dot class equal to 1, and it should end with a semicolon. So this is actually initialization of the structure. So this initialization can be done inside the main program also, even though I have initialized this globally. Okay.
So you can do it inside the main program also. So I have done outside the main program. Then you are in the main print of enter the course number. So you are asked to enter the course number. You are getting that course number. So you can use the scanf statement to get that course number. Ampersand passenger 8. So it is same as getting some value. You have to use ampersand and passenger 8 dot coach number, or 8 dot coach number should be given. That coach number will be, so whatever coach number you enter will be assigned to that passenger 8 dot coach number. Then seat number will be assigned percentage d, so ampersand percentage h dot seat number. Then you are simply printing all those details. Ticket, this is to print it in format. Then after that, in the next line, name of ticket holder, the train name, then from and to state, then the departure date. So departure date, that is actually in a for loop. So for India equal to 0, all those month, year, everything should be printed. So it is printed in a for loop. So it 0, first departure date of 0 will be printed. So you have the day, then after that at 1 you have the month, and at 2 you have the year. So after that the loop will be exited. Then to date percentages, that to date will be printed. Then course number, seat number, what we have entered will be printed, and we will be printing like this. So if you run this program, you will be asked to enter coach number. Okay, there is some problem with pass, but it will run. So coach number you can enter. So actually coach number is of what type? We will see what is the type of coach number. So coach number is character array. So you can enter S3. Then seat number 45 I'll enter. Now after that everything will be printed. So you have entered S3 and 45. This ticket will be printed like this. So simply XXX and all, then all those details will be printed. So this is how to initialize and print those details. Okay, you can get values like this also. Okay. Then this is another example. So this is an employee details. So his grade, employee grade, then his basic and his allowance are the variables. So there is no declaration inside this. Inside the main programming, we are declaring. So this is actually to copy a structure to another structure. So it is actually, no, sorry, I will, before that, I will take this example. So this is how to copy a structure to another structure. If I want to copy from one structure to another structure, it is possible. So I am declaring an employee structure like this, and inside main program, I am declaring Ramesh. It is a structure of employee variable. Then I am initializing some values. So grade, I am initializing it as a character. So within single quotes B, then basic pay it is 5750, and allowance it is 818.75. Now I am declaring another variable Vivek, and I am not assigning any values. Now what I am doing is I am assigning the values of Ramesh to Vivek. So Vivek is structure variable, Ramesh is also structure variable. So this is possible. I can assign the values of Ramesh to Vivek. Now if I print Ramesh salary is percentage, if I print like this, Ramesh dot basic plus Ramesh dot allowance should be printed. It is possible. So these two will be added and the result will be good. Now I am printing Vivek salary. So Vivek salary I have not initialized any value, but I am printing Vivek dot basic plus Vivek dot allowance. So but I have assigned Ramesh to Vivek. Now both are having the same grade and same pay. So these two will be added for Vivek also. So Vivek dot basic is actually 5750. Vivek dot allowance is actually 818 points. So if you run this, you'll get the same result. So Ramesh salary is this, and Vivek salary is also same. So this way also you can assign. This is actually copying a structure to another structure. So it is possible in structure. So if both are of same type, then you can copy from one structure to another structure. That is, you can assign this values to another structure. Okay. Then you can do comparison of structures also. That is also possible. The same program I am using, the employee details, and I am initializing Ramesh and Vivek here. Okay, I am initializing Ramesh and Vivek here. Let me use tab and all, then So I am initializing two structure variables, employee Ramesh and Vivek, and I am initializing some values for Ramesh and Vivek, and I am using an if statement to compare all these things. So I am using an if statement to compare all these things. So let me put some tabs, then it will be easier to understand. Okay. Okay. So what I am doing is I am comparing Ramesh dot grade not equal to Vivek dot grade. So this kind of comparison is possible. I am comparing Ramesh dot grade is B and Vivek dot grade is also B, not equal to. So it is false. They are equal. So since they are equal, Ramesh dot grade and Vivek dot grade are equal. So it is false. So if it is true, this would have been printed. So Ramesh and Vivek are employed on different grades will be printed, but this is false. So it will go to the else part. You have already seen this else if later and all. Now in this else if you are comparing Ramesh dot basic plus Ramesh dot allowance. So these two will be added and it will check whether it is greater than Vivek.basic plus Vivek.allowance. So these values will be added and it will be checked. So if it is greater, so if you can see this, it is less than. So this won't be printed. Ramesh is senior and is total, like that you can print. Then if Ramesh.basic plus Ramesh.allowance equal to Vivek basic plus Vivek allowance, I don't know, it is also not true, then it won't be printed, else this part will be printed. So all this comparison is possible. So you can compare structure variables. So that is what we can see in this. Like your ordinary variable comparison, you can use structure variable comparison also, and all these operations, additions, subtraction, everything is possible. If you run this program, this else part will be printed. Vivek is senior and his total remuneration is percentage of, like that will be printed. So Ramesh is senior and his total remuneration is that percentage F Vivek basic plus Vivek allowance, that will be added and that will be printed instead of this percentage F. So this way we can compare structure variables. Okay.
So that's about structure. So we have already seen. Thank you. So that's all about structure variables. Next lecture we'll see how to use this typed for structure. Okay. So that's all. Thank you.